Have you ever found yourself constantly looking for new ideas, new books, new ways to change your life, but somehow you're stuck in the same position? If that is your case, you might be stuck in the dark side of the magician archetype. Now, before I go further, let me inform you that this is the second video that we are making on a series where we are sharing with you on how archetype create self-sabotage. Now, there's one thing that you must understand before we even go further into how the dark side of the magician archetype create self-sabotage. Now, I already talked about it, but for the people that are watching this video right now without seeing the first video, which I recommend you watch, uh, the archetype, we define them, the simplest definition we can give of the archetype, because what happens is most people don't understand what is really archetype and how we can define them correctly. Now, an archetype is a template, is a blueprint. Now, you might ask yourself, a blueprint of what? A template of what? Now, a guy named Carl Jung, he used to study what we call human behavior, what we call human nature. And for him to study human nature, human behaviors, he found out that there are certain behaviors, there are certain action, certain feelings, certain way of seeing things that are universal. So archetype is a patterns of behavior, it's a blueprint. Okay, so we can study the human behaviors. Now, a lot of people make this mistake before I go further, is they identify themselves with one archetype. And that is a very big mistake because an archetype is like a degree. So if you know that degree is a way for us to measure temperature, but you can't say that water is a degree. So water can adapt a certain degree. Okay, so I mean, water can be at 35 degrees Celsius, for example, but it also can be at let's say 23 degrees Celsius. Okay, so the mistake most people make is they identify themselves with a certain archetype. But an archetype is just a way for you to understand yourself, to understand human behavior, to understand how you think, why you do the thing you do, and why you behave the way you behave. Because once you understand themselves, so you can grow. Now let us go into the video, which is the dark side of the magician archetype. Now, when we see the magician archetype, I want you to understand two things. The first thing, the magician archetype is always based on transformation. So a person acting from the magician archetype is a person that can help you transform, that can help you that can help you go from one state into another. Okay? Now, the magician does that with one thing in particular, and that is the mastery of hidden knowledge. With the mastery of hidden knowledge, the magician has the capability to transform one state into another. Okay? So, when I'm referring to the hidden knowledge, I'm not necessarily talking about esoteric knowledge. I am talking about anything that the mass or a lot of people can't see, a lot of patterns, a lot of ideas that a lot of people can't see, but the person acting from the magician archetype can identify, can study, can understand these patterns, can understand these ideas, can understand the way things work that a lot of people might not have seen. Okay? So any behavior acting from this archetype will manifest itself this way. Now, there's also a dark side to that because once you are looking for certain patterns, once you're looking for certain ideas that are hidden to other person, there are a very dark side that you might find yourself into. How to be aware that you are on the dark side of the magician archetype. Now, the first thing you must understand whenever that you want to stop self-sabotage, okay, and you want to understand yourself better, like I say in my framework, is awareness. By the way, I have here a free guide for you in the description below. You'll be able to see the 4 levels of change, and you can see which one of them keep you stuck at the moment, stopping you to change what you want to change because it's keeping you self-sabotaging. Okay, so the free guide is on the description below. You'll be able to download it for free, and also you'll be able to see the framework that we use to help people change any area of their life in just 5 steps without self-sabotage. Now, let us go back to the video. I was saying that the magician archetype, like any other archetype, it has its own dark side. Now, what is it? There are three behaviors that can prove that someone is acting from the dark side of the magician archetype. And the first thing is procrastination. How does it manifest? Remember that we said the magician archetype is whenever that you find yourself looking for ideas, looking for patterns that can help to improve a certain area of your life or the life of other people, of other people. Now, whenever you find yourself looking for information, looking for knowledge, looking for ideas, looking for the secret, you might procrastinate on the act of doing the thing itself. A good example could be, for example, let's say that you're trying to improve your health, okay? And you're trying here to buy some courses about health, how to do a diet, how to do certain thing. And then with the Martian archetype on the dark side of it, what will happen is you find yourself always looking for courses without applying even the knowledge that you got from one of them, or without finishing even one of them at all. Okay, so you're always looking for information. You're always looking for patterns, for the secret, without you taking any action at all. So uh, that is one sign that you are on the dark side of the magician archetype. Now, a second sign that you are acting from the dark side of the magician archetype is something very common, and a lot of people experience it. It's called overthinking. Like I said, the archetype is always looking for information because the magician archetype can transform reality from one state to another by by the mastery of hidden knowledge, by the thing that other people can see, by the ideas that other people can see. Okay, so they do that by study, by looking, by observing. Now, whenever that you find yourself on this state, if you're not aware, you might find yourself on the dark side of the Mayan archetype, which is overthinking. So some of the things that you are experiencing on your life, they might have the simplest solution that you can imagine. But since you're looking for complex information, because in your mind you think that having complex information or having a lot of information is what is going to get you out of the situation that you are right now, you might find yourself on the dark side of the magician archetype. Okay? So the third sign that you might find yourself on the dark side of the magician archetype is whenever that you don't want any feedback at all. Now you might ask yourself, why is that? The magician, remember, it's looking for hidden knowledge. It's looking for hidden ideas, hidden patterns that other people might not see. So whenever that you find yourself in this situation, and whenever you find a certain pattern, a certain way, a certain strategy that can get you or other people out of a situation, you might think that you are the only person that has this information, that has this secret, that has this strategy. And you might not listen to any feedback at all. And whenever that you find yourself in this situation, believe it or not, you self-sabotage. Because we as human beings, we are beings that are called to grow. And in order for you to grow, you need feedback. Okay? So you need feedback to grow. So that is another sign that you might find yourself on the dark side of the magician archetype. Now, the archetype of the magician, it's a very good archetype because it helps a lot of people improve their life, because it helps a lot of people find inspiration. It helps a lot of people find new ideas, new strategy to get out of a situation. And like I said, it might be manifested, for example, that you have a new business idea. What might be manifested that you can help another friend, another member of your family to get out of a situation whenever that this person couldn't see any solution at all. Okay, so whenever that we are acting this way, whenever that we are behaving this way, seeing information that can transform your life or the life of others, we are acting from the archetype of the magician. But like we said, each archetype has its own strength and weaknesses and its own way of seeing the world. Now, if you want us to go with your archetype in the next video, you can let us know in the comment below. Comment the archetype that you would like us to go next, and we will go over how this certain archetype can create self-sabotage. Okay? So let us know in the comment which archetype that you would like us to go next. But for now, I recommend you to get the free guide on the description below to understand the 4 levels of change and see which one of them keeps you stuck, and also see the 5-step formula that we have that can help you to create any change on your life in only 5 steps without self-sabotage. That is all for today. I'll see you on the next video.